There. Now I'm not muted. For once it wasn't a software problem, it was a hardware problem. The flashing red light on my Blue Yeti was bothering me when I had it muted. So I had moved the filter on front of it. And yeah. Alright, so I guess I have to start the ramble over. Have some Cheerios, dogs. So yeah, for those of you that are just tuning in, yeah. Hi, I'm Annie. And we're gonna do some hate mapping. I don't like Bennu. It is no secret that I don't like mapping Bennu. But I also know that a lot of other of you find this painful. Some people find it very, very soothing. I am not one of those people. I can do 3 or 4 images in a sitting and then I'm done. So what we're going to do is together for half hour or an hour, we're going to work on Bennu. So a lot of you have said that it helps when I mark Bennu with you, and at this point it's whatever it takes to get this done. So I'm looking at the webpage right now. I don't have it up yet on screen, but I'm looking at the webpage right now and it says 1,240, which is actually down somewhat. Yes, Veronica, this is the meeting of Mapping Anonymous. I have beer. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I have beer. So, yeah, this is definitely Bennu support group. Yeah, we could wonder, that is Tinkerbell, who has learned exactly where to stand and exactly where to look. It just happens that the doggo cam is between me and her, but she's figured out that if she stands in that spot and stares in my general direction, that sometimes Cheerios go flying in her general direction, like this. And that is what she's waiting for. If an alert pops up on my screen for literally anything, or if I feel like it, we'll toss Cheerios to dogs, because that's fun. Alright, so let's get shouted. Or let's get started. Oh my goodness. I am not humaning well, by the way. And there's just... welcome to my life. Welcome to my life. I was very productive today for not humaning well. Hey JD, welcome. Is research experience a make or break thing when applying to grad school for astronomy? Here's the thing. I am not an astronomer. I know enough astronomy to be dangerous. My background is actually in computer science. I do work, it's kind of weird, in the astronomy department at Youngstown State University, so I spend a lot of time with undergrads that are astronomy undergrads and trying to get into grad schools, and having research experience never hurts, especially if you're female, because there was a very enthusiastic female undergrad at YSU that would do really, really well in grad school, but because she had spent a lot of her time working in the planetarium and doing informal public outreach, which is actually something that's usually associated with more of women than men, we think that was a negative hit to her. I'm not sure. I haven't chatted with her in, gosh, a couple months, but I know she was struggling. I know they're competitive. Dr. Pamela will have more insight on that than I do, because I've never gone to grad school. The best way to get to her, to talk to her, is on our Discord. Joining our Discord is free. You just have to agree to the rules. And once you agree to the rules, you can access the rest of the server. So Fenmil asks, how can public outreach be a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. It's a very important thing. But Pamela can speak more about this than I can, because she's had more experience with this. She's gone to conferences and things and been speaker on panels where she won't be introduced as Dr. Pamela Gay or even Dr. Pamela. she will be introduced, you know, and I forget what she does a lot of research with a lot of things, and I am unfortunately ignorant on these things. But she's been introduced as an educator versus a scientist. And educators aren't always taken as seriously. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with being public outreach. I'm technically public outreach. This right now that we're doing is public outreach. Oh, thanks for the bits. All right, so here's the... Okay! Mistress Tinkerbell it is. She gets very excited when she sees that arm go over my head. What I'm doing now counts as public outreach, but because I'm not doing research, because I'm not getting papers published, I know astronomy is extremely competitive because there's just not enough jobs. And yeah, so things like having papers published, even when you're an undergrad, it's mind-boggling. I could not imagine publishing a paper while I was an undergrad. I'm fortunate. Hey, more bits! And speak! Good job, dogs! They did it perfectly that time. Alright, so thanks for the thing. Like, I couldn't imagine doing a paper. YSU is amazing in the fact that we have 2 astronomers that do a lot of research into the best way to teach astronomy. They also do research on their own. Like Dr. Pat Durrell gets time on the Hubble. So he and Dr. John Feldmeyer get time on the Hubble. I don't know how I can make this more like, hey, look, this teeny tiny town, well, not town, this teeny tiny city in Youngstown that's super depressed has a scientist that's getting time on the Hubble. And by the way, that's extremely competitive. But they also do research, and they do bring, I know the physicists in the department do bring their undergrads in for research. So there's definitely a very supportive environment for astronomy and physics undergrads in Youngstown. Unfortunately, I was always on the edge of it. So even though I practically lived in that department, I'm only kind of familiar with how all that works. So, yeah, with all of that, let's get at it. Yes, Dr. Pamela is busy right now. She was battling poison ivy, and now she's battling the poison ivy again. But hopefully now for good. Okay, so, yeah. Oof. Make sure everything's all set up. Puck's like, but I want some too, Mom. All right. Yeah, she finally has the magic goo. Oh, that's a cute little, like, heart emote. Okay! I don't even get to say the magic word. I'm trying to teach her that exactly 2 barks and exactly when I ask, but you know, she's enthusiastic. We'll let her do it. So I have an image of Bennu up, and this one is mostly boulders, which makes me happy. Because I am okay with marking boulders. So yeah, it's kind of weird because my degree is in computer science. I've spent a lot of time around astronomy, but I don't have that astronomy degree. And I don't think I'll ever get one, to be honest, because I know how competitive the field is in academia. I just want to do stuff on the edges. Like, I'm okay doing this. You don't need an astronomy degree to know that, like, over 140 toilets have burned up in the atmosphere. Yes, 140 space toilets have burned up in the atmosphere. I need to work on that spreadsheet. I keep saying that I need to work on the spreadsheet, and I just never do. Space toilets. Yes, Wicked Wonder, space toilets. There are 4 in space right now. My nephew was quite confused. So that drink you had probably just had space toilet in it. I mean, maybe. I mean, if we're all made of stardust, can we say that, you know, we're all part space toilet? I actually don't know how that works. So if there's space toilet in my glass, in my drink, it's a very tiny percentage. There's probably more, you know, dino pee in my beer than there is space toilet. See, Puck doesn't have the positioning quite down like Tinker does. He just knows if he's in that general area, he can get treats. So I'm expecting favorite human home in about 45 minutes. Depending on what he does after work, it might be longer than that. We'll see. But the dogs will go nuts, and those of you that have been here when he comes home, you all know the routine. Dogs will go nuts. I'll mute. You'll see Legs walk past the doggy cam, and then he'll slink off somewhere because he doesn't want to be on stream. Which is the exact opposite of my nephew, who's like, I want to be on stream. I want to be on stream all the time. This is awesome. And I keep forgetting that I haven't quite explained all of the rules to him every single time I have him on. Lots of weird looking rocks. So there's a geologist in our Discord that's been doing a fair number of these images. And he just points out things about these rocks, and I'm like, yeah, these rocks look weird. And he's like, whoa, check this out, check this out, check this out. I'm like, yeah, the rocks are weird. That's okay. And on to the rock marking portion. Yeah, a lot of weird shapes, a lot of weird lines, lots of jagged stuff, which, you know, is to be expected. There's no wind or water to smooth out the edges. So for me, seeing something jagged isn't that big of a deal. It's more like, what are you doing? There's no Cheerios over there. It's more like when I see splits. That's why when I see something that looks curved, I'm like, that's probably a crater. Like, I have my suspicions about the spot right here. It's either my brain going wild. Let me actually hide the marks. No. To me, that's a crater. It's just too round. It shouldn't be round like that. You alright, Fluff? He's like, I don't know, I'm gonna move. Yeah. Puck, come here. You have a Cheerio stuck in your fur. Come here, let me help you. Is this what you're trying to get out? Is this it? Is that better? Yeah, the lines are all very straight, They aren't not like crackly or wavy or anything. But they're fractured rocks, so I guess that's what you would expect. That's a tiny boulder. Or at least that's how I'm marking it. He went nuts because he had a Cheerio stuck in his fur. He's like, I can feel it. There's something in my fur, but I can't get it. So in either tonight or in the morning, part of me is like, I might as well just keep doing the number thing in the morning, just for consistency's sake. By the number thing, I mean, if you've marked over 50 images and your username resembles anything like, and your Discord username resembles anything like what's in the Bennu database, I try to give updates every morning. And you know, some people the numbers change a lot, some people the numbers don't change at all. I kind of just do it now out of habit. I'm sorry if I'm annoying anyone. I know there are people that very patiently wait till I say that I'm done before they type in chat. And sometimes those people, I think, literally stalk the channel while I'm doing it and just wait till it gets to them. Veronica, it's okay that you've been slacking. I've been slacking, technically. Because in my head, I was like, yeah, we're going to do one of these streams every night. And I'm like, there are some nights where I'm like, this just isn't happening. It's not happening. So, my camera feels like it's a bit too up. There we go, it's a bit better. So, yeah, no, I mean, it's a lot to do. I forget how many people have only marked one image. I know it's over 500. And I don't know if it's possible or if it's okay to email them with a polite nudge of, hey, can you please mark just one more image? I know it's terrible, but can you please just mark one more image? That would give us a huge boost. Because if they marked one more image, it would pull more of the images up to being complete. Kevlar says, wait, what? I thought it was over on July 26th. Guess not, huh? What's the new end date? The new end date is ASAP. Please just get it done. DPI ran some numbers and says at the current pace we're going, it's going to take us 34 more days. I may have cried a little bit inside when I read that. I was like, oh no. Because each image needs to be marked by 15 people. If you're Mike Cassidy, you can do one image in about 5 minutes, which is what we were expecting. If you're the rest of us mere mortals, it can take 5, 10, 15 minutes to do an image. Now, Mike is a freaking citizen science superhero. And I know he's out tonight and not with us, and that's why he's not with us in chat. It's because he's out enjoying some very well-deserved time off from mapping Bennu, because Mike is indeed a superhero. There are many ways to support us. Mike has chosen to support us by doing science. So that's pretty freaking cool. He's done over, for those of you that are tuning in or are curious, he's done over 2,000 images. I think his new goal is 2,700. I know the last I looked, he was over 2,600. And in the public campaign, he has now done the most images. He surpassed, so he's literally in our number 1 slot. There is a special Bennu not a Bennu role. There's a special Discord role I've been giving out or been assigning to people that have done marked over 1,000 images, and it's literally just says citizen science superhero, because you're all heroes for doing this. But yeah, Mike's done a lot. Veronica says Mike deserves a cape. Paranor says Mike is the Hulk of Bennu mapping. He really is. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and he has gone above and beyond. He has plodded away at it. His numbers go up every day. And every time he meets his goal, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to do a little bit more. Because I think at first his goal was just 2,000. And then getting his numbers every day, I think it just kind of increased his drive and gave him a better idea of, where he's at. Which is why I do it. I give out the numbers every day for you guys. Oh, are you making a joke about the designer? Who's like, no capes. Oh, fans are bad. Capes can get sucked into fans. I like the designer. She's like, I will babysit anytime. And that was after she's like, why did you bring this child here? Oh, yeah, fans they're turbines, technically. So, Wicked, I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling a little ill. I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, that's what it was. I haven't clicked submit yet. I'm still kind of clicking away at the odd bit and bob. Because I wish there was some way to just mark rough terrain. Because it's not really a rock. It's not really a boulder. Well, I guess it has a shadow, so I could mark it as a boulder. I do need to mark that crater. Oof. Yeah, sometimes the day after, even fun stuff is exhausting. In the travel calendar, no joke, I have a day marked off as recovery from the Vegas trip. Which is why I'm like, I don't know if I'll stream when I get back. I don't know if I'll stream the day before I go out. So, we'll see. Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, I've had that done. I was under when it was done, but I've had that done. That's... At least with the colonoscopy, the worst part is over when they put you under. Oof, oof, oof. Oof. Oh, yeah. Being on a medication's never good / fun / healthy / everything. Good. I hope that helps. I really do wish I could mark this. Yeah, colonoscopy, the worst part is indeed the prep, and it... Imagine doing that without indoor plumbing. Just imagine that. I had a flushing toilet, it just wasn't indoor. It's really weird to describe how they worked. Oof. Oof. Well, I hope it kicks in faster. So you're not, in agony, because agony is no fun. Ah, okay. Yeah, I could see how that would be problematic. Okay. I'm gonna call it done on this image because F you, Bennu. That's why. Just F you, Bennu. There's a lot of like weird four patchy things there together, but I think that's just my brain pulling out patterns when they aren't there. All right. How did I get so lucky? Look at this image, y'all. Look at this. Yeah, if you're in doubt and you're not sure, you know, talk to your medical people. There's a standard list of questions that they have to ask at the VA, and because they're used to serving an older clientele, I get asked things like, "Are you on blood thinners?" I'm like, it depends on where I go, but there's sometimes when it's painfully obvious that they're not used to dealing with a young woman, well, younger woman. And you go to urgent care after hours in Sacramento, the Sacramento VA. And I got called Mr. Wilson. Yeah, I was not happy about that. Yeah, I was called Mr. Wilson. Well, they were bringing out, like, essentially snacks to eat. They were putting out, they brought out snacks snacks and like orange juice for people to eat while they were waiting because it was a really long wait. And instead of just calling out by last name, they just assumed everybody there was, all the patients there were male. Because it started off with like Mr. Blank and Mr. Blank, and then it was Mr. Wilson. I'm like, you mean Ms. Wilson? The guy was so embarrassed. He used just last names after that. Oof. They didn't have anything ready for women's health. The nurse was so embarrassed. I was like, it's all right. This happens. But that was definitely a location where they were like, you don't have the equipment we're used to dealing with. Now what do we do with you? Veronica says, I have a horrible idea for swag. Create I Heart Bennu bumper stickers that people can print. I mean, how is that a horrible idea? Paranor says, this happens all too often. Sigh. Yeah. Yeah. This is a remarkably low-key image. How did I get lucky? Like, I need to share this image. Steampunk says, my other ride is Bennu. I mean, if I get motivated enough, I could probably make some and put them up on the store. Pamela's been overwhelmed with all the things, and I have a bit more free time. I just art really slow. It is a very lucky image. I am very much in shock. Like, I'm almost afraid that I'm overmarking it. So, yeah. But yeah, I could probably make up some tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, because I was told I was allowed to be sarcastic. For the record, I was told I was allowed to be sarcastic. Art related to Bennu. It's okay. It's okay, Wicked Wonder. It is literally okay. I do not want you to stress yourself out. I do not want you to, like, do damage to yourself. I literally only map when I'm on stream. That's it. That's all I do. Because at least this way I'm not hating myself. I hate myself a lot less when I'm doing it with other people. Or when I'm doing it... Yeah, no, I said that right. Words are hard. Yeah, I hear you, Paranor. And I have a feeling that, you know, that's the same for a lot of other people. They've only done one image, that they got through the tutorial and they were like, OMG, I need to zoom in. I need to mark every little thing. So, if I were to send out a nice email, it would be, this is exactly what you mark. If you're not sure, watch some streams, because I think people have said that actually watching the stream and seeing what I mark helps. You know, watch the videos. Don't zoom in. I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of people, is that they really, really want to zoom in, and don't zoom in. Don't do it. Alright, these are little raised bumpies, but I'm gonna mark them as rocks. Alright, so I'm gonna inspect the element to get the URL, which I know this is kind of cut off at the bottom. But we want to get the URL, and I'm going to copy the URL, the web address to the image, to Discord. So welcome. Bennu mappers. Nothing to dot. How did he get so lucky? Oh, I guess Mike Cassidy is mapping. I guess I should mark this whole big thing as, like, see, I don't know if I'd really call it a boulder, but there's a definite line here. Like, I really don't know what to do with this image. You're right over there, buddy. He's like, yeah, I'm fine, Mom. Thanks for asking. Your net went down 3 times today, too. Oof. Oof. As the kids say. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, I worry that I'm overmarking. I worry that I'm overmarking. Rockberg. It is. Alright, I'm going to click submit, because otherwise I'm going to find pieces of dust to mark, and that defeats the purpose. It's slanted, though, because I'm looking at it in the Discord, which the settings are a little bit different, because I feel like this has less, on the screen it has less contrast. But I'm looking at it, and it's slanted, which does not make it an ideal location to collect samples. And some of the things I thought were just weird outgrowths really are rocks. Like, this is a rock. That's a rock. Some of these is just too hard to tell. Alright. And image done. Hey, we got another side of it. I am okay with this. Do a big old vertical line there. Here. It's about 10 o'clock. Don't do it. There you go. That's a good boy. I think Veronica asks if I think it's something to avoid, I mark it, right or wrong. In the interest of the health of the spacecraft, I think that's the right move. Again, 14 other people are going to look at the image. Everything's going to kind of get, eventually, the data will be cleaned up. So if they were to do science on this, on these images, because I think that's the long-term goal too, is to just do science. You know, that's where the cleaned up data will come in at. But I think that's for the self and health. Words are really hard today, and I don't know why. For the health and safety of the spacecraft, I think that's a good move, Veronica. And I think I've adopted that too, because it is kind of a good thing. Like, oh hey, look, there's a hazard here. And you know, we've talked a little bit before about the thing. Ping pong makes words difficult. More beer. Oof, oof. It's a porter, so it's not going to take a whole lot, and it's not one of the fancy porters that I've been saving to share with Favorite Human. I am terrible at ping pong. Now, pong, I could probably hold my own in for a little bit. Oh, mental ping pong. Okay. Yeah, I'm still struggling with that today. Hey, Keeper. Wicked says, I did a backspin on a ball so hard that it didn't bounce, just rolled. Oh, wow. Hey, Keeper, are you here to hate map too? Because I'm here to hate map. Oh! Paranor is asking how Uranus is tonight. And sorry, there are bugs flying into my light covers. I don't think they realize that that it's not the outside. Keeper says, no hate mapping for me this evening. Aw. But those numbers, though. Those numbers, though. Oh, it was the answer to a question at trivia this evening. Okay. How was trivia? Did you have fun? I always worry that I'll be terrible at trivia. Name the only other planet with its largest moon with a female name. See, I don't think I ever would have gotten that one. Oh, and you were by yourself. Oh, that's a pretty picture that you just posted, Steampunk. I like the boulder in the bottom. Yeah, I feel like that question was added just for Keeper. Titania. Doesn't Uranus have multiple moons? Clicky, click, 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 click. Mark all the rocks. Now Puck's like, hey, did I miss something fun? I don't know about every Bennu mapper's dream steampunk, but I mean... Oh, close but no cigar. Oh, sarcasm, yeah. We totally need a sarcasm font on the internet. Hey, somebody's feeling bad for you, Puck. And speak. Good girl. Make it rain. Exactly 2 barks, just like how I want it. First, I couldn't figure out where Tinker went. She went and laid down in her crate. So she's still just off camera. Tinker, do I need to make it sprinkle? There, I made it sprinkle for you. She's like, I did the work. I barked. Where's my Cheerios? Puck didn't do anything. Puck just sat there. But yeah, thanks for the bits. I think I'm starting to get sleepy. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I'm surprised some people don't end up cross-eyed after doing this. This is definitely an activity I should be doing with my glasses on. And I'm still very impatiently waiting for my new glasses to show up, which are supposed to have the AR coating on them. I went through online company and my prescription didn't have an expiration date. This was literally, I mean, I say literally the only company. I've only worked with 2 companies. This is literally the only company that's like, we need a prescription with your, you know, expiration date on it. I'm like, I have my doctor's notes that say to come back in like 2 to 3 years. So, like, the prescription's within the last 6 months. But I guess wherever they're based out of, by state law, they have to have an expiration date. And then by Ohio state law, a prescription's only good for a year. Some blue blocking coating. Yeah, I think I'm going to have I think it has a blue blocking coating on it. It's definitely got the AR coating on it, so I can stream while I've got my glasses on. And UV is pretty much standard. So, mine doesn't expire either. A lot of places were like, hey, did you get your... Because I shopped around for a while. It's like, hey, you know, is this from the last 6 months? And the answer is yes, it's from the last 6 months. It's recent. So. Oh, I hear a whiny cat. We still need to make a cat command. Although I don't know what should be in the cat command. Like, is it a count for the number of times we've heard the cat? Is it a count for the number of times the cat's shown up on screen? Or is it just a description of the cat? I really don't know what to put in for the cat command. What do you dogs think? You guys don't even have your own dedicated command. Actually, I think the dogs do have their own dedicated command. Nope. Nope. Wicked Wonder says, I get polycarb lenses because one eye is blind. Veronica Kier says, I wouldn't think that eyeglass prescriptions would be regulated the same way that medication prescriptions are. I didn't either. Look at that. I had literally a prescription for a multivitamin because it was, if I got it prescribed to me, it was free. And it was sitting around in the trunk of my ex's car, and that was the one day that he gets pulled over at the gate going on to post for a full car inspection. This inspection was a disaster. I'm in the car with him. I just want to go get my dependent ID so, you know, I can do all the things I need to do with the dependent ID. And oh my. His car was a mess to begin with. Like, stuff everywhere. They found shell casings. They found training grenades. They found my expired multivitamins. And I don't even remember how many shell casings. I don't even remember how many training grenades. Training grenades are just a shell of metal. And there's a pin and all this other stuff. And they make a noise when you toss them. She's not marking rocks. I know, I'm telling a story. So they found all of this stuff in his car that he was not supposed to have. You do not leave the range with brass in your car. Or you don't leave the range with brass on you. You don't. I don't know why, you just don't. You know, police all your brass, you put it all where it belongs, you don't take any home with you. But he had training grenades and shell casings and my expired vitamins. And the expired vitamins were like, okay, this is ridiculous. You know, you shouldn't be punished for this, like that part of it. But because they weren't in his name and they were expired, they were like, we have to put this down on the report. And yeah, the training grenades definitely should not have had. So he's like, oh, training NCO gave them to me. Da 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 da. She said it was fine. I'm like, why would you keep those in your car? Why would you just have random brass in your car? It was a nightmare. They let him take me to do everything that I needed to do, because they're like, he's got a dependent with him, he's trying to do stuff with a dependent, we're just gonna go let you do your thing. But after that, he had to, I think he had to work in his office environment with this full battle rattle on, so he had to wear like combat helmet, bulletproof vest, like all of that, and he worked in an office. Moral of the day, or moral of the story, don't have expired vitamins in your car, don't take training grenades home, and turn in your brass. He had to do a bunch of other stuff too, but like he had to stay before and after, I think. They were being really careful with how they punished him, because my health wasn't the greatest, and they were... my health wasn't the greatest, and I just moved to the area, so they were trying to balance the fact that he kind of had to take care of me with the fact that he done fucked up. So... Hey, Bad Panda Bear, you just missed the story about how I had expired vitamins in the car. Or not how I had expired vitamins. My ex had my expired vitamins in the car, and it got him in trouble. He got in trouble for other stuff. It wasn't just the vitamins. It wasn't just the vitamins. Alright, she might just make happy noises. Yeah, no, they didn't punish me in a roundabout way. They couldn't. I was a civilian. Oh, honey, I told them a story I'm gonna have to tell you later because I don't think I've ever told you that story. And chat says hello. He says hey. So this is definitely going to be my last image because he is home. And it sounds like it may have been a long day. I think this image is pretty much done anyway. Oh, more bits. I didn't even hear it come through. Hey! No, she just heard me pick up the thing. He could just watch it later on video on demand. I don't think he watches any of my videos. Do you?
I have a couple of times.
You have a couple of times. This is the first I've heard of it. He may actually just watch it later on video, on VOD. Yeah, this is a nice surprise. So, wait, what are you... I got treats. I want to save this for tomorrow, okay?
Well, I have, including that one, 9 of them. So
Why?
that's why.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then. And click that rock, and image done. Woo, that's my 3 images. I should be up to 64 now. Oof, oof, oof. Close that. I know my screen's gonna get wonky. So I'm not doing Uno tonight. I am totally going to log off so I can spend time with him. Chat with him about his day. So I'm just trying to find all the windows now. Alright, so is anybody, before I start the wall of text, is there anybody streaming that I should raid? Can't eat it until I've finished mapping all the rocks. That's a month from now. No, I will have like been on 2 trips and back. No. I will save it for tomorrow. No, I'm not doing Uno. Paranor's doing Uno. They will probably talk about that, more about that in Discord. And yeah, things and stuff and things. I need suggestions for who to raid, otherwise I'm just gonna let AutoHost take over because lazy / I want to get off. And yeah, alright, so wall of text time. This has been a production of PSI, that's Planetary Science Institute, located in Tucson, Arizona, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University here in Youngstown. It's probably okay outside, Ohio. PSI is a 501c3 nonprofit, which is fancy speak for your donations are tax deductible where laws allow. Speaking of donations, we are brought to you by you, so thank you for all of your support. Thank you for mapping Bennu. Thank you for your patronage on Patreon. Thank you for all of your bits tonight. The dogs were really excited about that. And yeah, thanks for your patience. And I think that's everything. So yeah, if you miss an episode, we archive everything on YouTube. Come here. I know, you heard the dogs. Come here. We archive everything on YouTube. And Dr. Pamela will be on tomorrow with Daily Space at 1 p.m. Eastern. Right now that's 1700 hours UTC. So is this better, Cat? He thinks so. Maybe. I think he's trying to get a treat. No one puts baby in a corner as he jumps off my lap and cries. Alright. So, awkwardly roll the credits because, you know, that's how we roll. And I will see you guys on Sunday, probably. So until then, bye!